So much going on these days. Forget about
Hey everybody, welcome back to the 30-Year-Old Freshman. This is week 3, page 5. You're probably wondering, why am I wearing this hat? Well, I haven't shaved yet, so I'm trying to protect the dome a little bit. But we didn't do an entry last week, and the reason for that is that it was flat out a rough week. You know, it was a rough week in school, man. I had an 8-page paper to turn in, you know, and I had a quiz that I still had to study for. So it was rough, man. It was a rough one. I had a paper that I did on abolitionist John Brown, and if you're not, you know, if you're not a reader or anything like that, I understand, but you really need to go and then find some material on this guy. John Brown lived from, 1800 to 1859. If you can find something on this dude, it's worth a read. I mean, listen, I know it's history and all. I know a lot of people don't like history, but John Brown is a fascinating read. So I did a paper on him. And, the problem with the paper is that it was so complicated to write. My instructor gave us so many different stipulations, so many different guidelines that we had to follow. And we couldn't, write about certain things. We had to write basically about that person and their impact in American history. So it was very hard to write this paper. And I know you're probably thinking, like, you're a journalist. You should be able to do that. And you're probably right, I should. But it was the hardest paper I have ever written. And I got through it. I mean, we did it, but I'm not real comfortable with it. I'm not real happy with the paper. It's a perfect example here. Like, if I gave you a car and I said, I want you to drive this car to Southfield, but you're not gonna have any brakes. You're gonna have all old spark plugs, and you're gonna have a flat tire. Now, the chances of you getting to Southfield, you'll probably get there, but it won't be a comfortable ride. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I kind of view this paper as. It was like, I knew I could do it, but it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't like the paper I had envisioned when I first started. But you know what? I got it done. It's all good. I'm not going to complain. I had a rough week dealing with it. Saturday I was studying, man, which was rough. But I have to thank my wife for helping me. She helped me through it, because you know what, man, I was stressed last week. It was rough. I wasn't sleeping, and she really helped me with this paper and just in general with school. Helping me study and stuff like that. So I owe her a lot, for helping me out, because it's good to go back to school, but it's great when you got a good support group, man. When you got people that's there to help you and to kind of guide you and hold your hand, it's fantastic, man. So I'm grateful that I have somebody like that. It's weird too, because it's like my mom comes over and she's like, "Can I read your paper?" And I'm thinking in my head, like, this would be a good idea. My mom can read the paper, tell me if it needs anything or whatever. Well, my mom starts changing words. She starts changing all the stuff. Oh, you should use this word. You should use that word. And she's basically rewriting my paper. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Hold on. The paper has to be this long, and you're cutting out sentences. That's not going to work for me. Next thing I know, my mom hits something on the laptop. Paper vanishes. So, needless to say, she is not welcome over here, probably for the next 6 weeks or so. But the thing was, my wife, we were working on the paper. My wife was reading the syllabus. And this is something that, I wanted to do a while ago, and I just kind of forgot to do it. But my wife was reading the syllabus, and, my instructor is really good. He's a really good instructor, okay? This guy teaches this history like nobody I've ever seen, I've ever heard before. But the syllabus it's different. It's lacking something. It's definitely humorous, but the funny thing about the syllabus is, it's like when you're typing a paper or you're writing a paper or something, and you make a mistake and you put a period or a question mark or an exclamation point. You put something somewhere it's not supposed to be, and it makes the sentence weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not supposed to be there. Backspace, delete. And my instructor's syllabus is somewhat like that, where like he puts some stuff where it really shouldn't be, and it just makes the sentence odd. It just makes it like really really funny sounding. So perfect example here. I'm gonna throw it up on the screen. Here's one. You see it up in the first, because the way this is set up is basically like a schedule. And so you have all the dates and all the assignments that we're going to be doing. Not assignments, but lectures that we're going to be doing on that day. Up at the top here, August 23rd, course introduction. Student expectations, the first Americans. Who they are, where they came from, to where? Like, I don't get it. Like, why is there a question mark at the end of that? That doesn't really make sense to me. To where? Well, I don't know. You tell me. I'm not really sure where. That's why I'm in a class. So it's stuff like that that we were basically in here rolling on the floor. It was that funny to me reading some of this stuff. Here's another one. Here you can see down October 18th, the Treaty of Paris, 1783. The first decade, a slow death, 1780s, U.S. The second founding fathers, save us! Why are we excited for that? I don't know why there's an exclamation point there. I really don't get it. But I know that we really want somebody to save us, but I don't know why it's in that context. It's just really funny. Down here, you can see, you go down to November 8th, Common Man in Power! So we're screaming again. So it's things like that that basically, I'm like, did this dude not even look at this? Because that doesn't even make sense. But you know what? It's funny. I just think it's hilarious. I still love the course. I like the instructor. The paper was difficult. Hey, look, I can thank him for that. But it was a rough one because, the thing too, man, is that, look, I want to say something, man, because before I even go any further, I got to give a disclaimer to all our female viewers. I tend to be somewhat sexist in thinking sometimes, not all the time. And this is not one of those times. This is not like that, but I just want to throw it out there before I even say anything because I know how it's going to come off. But we get in class, and a lot of people didn't do the paper. Okay, a lot of people were busy. I understand they're adults. They got kids, they got husbands, wives, jobs and things. I completely understand that. And so some people didn't do the paper. And so one of the guys that I was talking to sitting next to me, I asked him, hey, how'd you do in your paper? And he says, man, I didn't even do it. I feel bad. I was really busy, doing this, doing that. But, I'm going to do the next one, but I couldn't do this one. And there's a girl that's sitting next to him, okay? So she decides that she's going to chime in into me and his conversation. Now, this is where I start to get upset. Now, and let me explain to you why I'm upset. Because I'm already on edge about this paper. And I told you earlier that I wasn't confident in the paper. I got it done, but I wasn't confident in it. And I was hoping that the instructor would talk a little bit about the papers, maybe grades and things like that. So I was really antsy. I was really anxious. I hadn't slept, like I told you. I hadn't studied for my other course. So I was struggling a little bit. And this girl comes jumping in. Now she wants to talk. Now she wants to chit chat. And so she says to me, so did you do your paper? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, who did you do it on? John Brown. Now what I'm doing is I'm basically giving her one-word answers, okay? And most guys know, when you go to the club, you see a girl, you start trying to talk to her, and you're like, hey, how you doing? Good. So what do you do for a living? Waitress. And it's like, okay, 9 times out of 10, that chick wants nothing to do with you. You can end that interview right there, right? Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm giving this girl hints that I just don't want to talk to her about this, right? So I'm like, I'm texting, I'm leaning over, I'm talking to other people. I just don't want to talk to this girl. She's loud, she's obnoxious, and she talks a lot. So it's like she's talking, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, please stop. I don't want to really discuss anything with you, and I know how it sounds. It sounds like, I'm being a snob or I'm being elitist. It's not like that. I'm just telling you, I was stressed and I didn't want to talk to that particular girl at that moment. You know what I'm saying? So I was just baffled by some of the things coming out of this chick's mouth. You know, I really didn't want to listen. And it was like, when you get married or you get older, like that fog in your brain starts to dissipate and you start to hear and see things completely different. You know what I'm saying? It's all different at that point. So like, that's how I felt. Like, it was like, wow, like something was lifted off my shoulders and I just heard her for what she was. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, this is nonsense. Like, I know how it sounds. I sound bad because I should be listening to what this girl is saying. You know, she's going through some stuff. She didn't do her paper, and I should be listening. You know, I should have been listening when she said that her ex-boyfriend stole her car. I should have cared. I know, I understand that. I should have been listening when she said, she took her son to Cincinnati. You know, he took her son to Cincinnati, and they didn't return for 2 weeks, and she was heartbroken, and she couldn't do her paper, and I know I should care. I know, but I just don't. I just don't care. Please, don't. I don't want to hear it. I know, and I know it sounds bad. I'm sorry, but if you knew who I was talking about, you would understand. I just didn't care to hear anything that came out of her mouth. I'm sorry. But, look, that's just a recap of what went on this week. So, I want to do one thing too. I got some quiz scores that, I always like to show. 2 weeks ago, quiz on the Constitution, and you can take a look here. I'm gonna zoom in. Right there. That's a 96. That's an A. So I'm really happy about that one. But here's the one that kind of bugged me, and I'll tell you why. Here's another one. This was the one that we just had this week, the federal system. And you can see, here, it's kind of scribbled, but it's a 90, and that's an A minus. Now, most people be happy with that grade, and most time I would be too, but because I had such a rough week, I was kind of pissed with this. You know what I'm saying? I was annoyed a little bit because I was like, man, I wrote this paper. It took weeks to write. I'm not really comfortable with it. I don't really like the paper. I didn't get a chance to really study for this quiz, and I got a 90. I act like the instructor did this as a disrespect to me. Like, I was really disrespected by it. I was pissed off, y'all. For real. I was like, basically, I got the paper, and I'm like, man, take that 90. I don't want that. That's pittance. You better change that 9 to a 1 and add a 0. I don't want that 90. I want 100. Even though I got 5 or 6 wrong, I didn't care. I just wanted 100 because I was that pissed off. But I'm cool. I calmed down. You know what I'm saying? I had to get some rest. I was losing a little bit, and that's when I'm pretty sure a lot of people go through it. And that's when you want to turn into the 30-year-old dropout. But gotta stick with it. It's all good. I just gotta keep hustling because you know what? It's early, man. This is just 2 classes. Like, if I'm having a hard time with this, I don't even want to see what it's gonna be like year 2, 3, and 4. So, I'm just gonna keep working at it, man. Keep pushing. It's all good. But that's it. I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I appreciate all the support. I really do, man, because this is like a release for me, just to come on here and just run my mouth a little bit, talk about stuff. But if you want to chit chat some more, if you want to send some questions, comments, whatever, you can hit me up on my email address, which is DougCapel, and it'll be right there, DougCapel78 at gmail.com. That's like, look at that. That's like 3D right there. Okay, so you can hit me up there, or you can hit me up on Facebook at Facebook.com/Donnie Capel. I want to thank all you guys again for listening, for watching, supporting, commenting, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next week if I haven't pulled out my hair. Peace.
Pleasure.